Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here's the star card. Beautiful energy. That is kind of that's a card that is saying follow your star, right? Follow the starlight. Where is it? It's like it's kind of like the lighthouse, in the darkness. It's just kind of it's beckoning you, it's calling you, it's pulling you toward. It's showing you what you need to see. Yeah, very nice. Let's put it into some context. Let's see what we are looking for. 3 of Pentacles. Okay, that makes sense. 4 of Cups. All right. And we see some air energy here in the past with the Prince of Swords and the Justice or Adjustment card and a 5. 5 of Pentacles, huh? 6 of Swords. Okay, I like that. The Emperor. And here's a Knight of Cups and the world or the universe. Yeah, this to me feels like there is, it feels like there's a little bit of confusion with kind of like which direction to take with your, I don't know if it's your work or your creative projects or the construction of your physical existence. Right. Now let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. It's one random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to set down right here. We're going to put Kevin, a.k.a. Mr. Bates, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. Let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise in intuition. Okay. Let's look around the room here first, because we've got major. So we've got 4 major arcana cards. We don't really have a lot of fire. However, the Emperor is pretty fiery, right? This is mostly the fire that we need. There's a little bit of fire in the Knight of Cups as well. Okay, water. Yeah, we've got water here. We've got water here. We've got air here and here, and we've got our earth here and here. Going from a 3 to a 5. Now that's not the 5. It looks like a devious card. It looks like it's up to some no good. But I'll tell you what, every card has light and shadow. And I think we're getting the real positive light in the 5 of Pentacles today, right? We've got a 4 of Cups, which to me it's an even number. Not just to me, it is, I think, to everybody. It's an even number, so it represents kind of a passive state. It represents a resting of energy. Temporary resting, but a resting of energy. But the odd numbers, the 3, the 5, represent activity. It's a process. It's a function rather than a form. Yeah. So having a 3 and a 5 of Pentacles shows that we're making progress, that we're making moves, that we're doing something, right? We're taking steps. We're being proactive for better or for worse, right? I think for better in this case. But it's kind of like we're saying action right now is better than non-action. Doing something right now is better than doing nothing. Now, it's not always that way. But in this case, it is. Now, let's start with the Prince of Swords in the background, in the behind energy. What's behind all of this? Why are you here today? Well, because I think you're trying to tune into your star, and you're having a difficulty seeing, is it telling you to go this way or telling you to go that way? You know, I feel like you're driving this ship, and you got to turn the wheel. You've got to go somewhere. You've got to make a move. But there's just this difficulty feeling the right direction. You know, we're trying to intellectually understand kind of what our heart spiritual energy is telling us. Yeah. We're trying to use the mind to understand the spirit, the emotions, the creativity. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if this is just kind of a life trajectory, if it's a certain creative project, a certain relationship, whatever it might be. It's not just a career reading. It's not just a romantic reading. This is a life reading. And I think this ship that you're steering is the vessel of your life, okay? And I think there's been a little bit of confusion lately or in the past few days, weeks, okay? I think right now you're going to be getting that clarity. Now, it may already be coming in with this with this star card, okay? And this is right in the center, right? First card that came out, it says, you're looking for clarity, here's that clarity. You know, you're looking for a map. Here is your entire astrological chart, and it tells you it's kind of like a navigational chart. You're understanding where to go. Now, with the star card, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are kind of getting into astrology more or starting to learn. It's kind of like we're navigating by the stars, you know, but not all the stars, our star, right? Which is kind of our true self. It's kind of our experience of the universe, of the spirit, of God, goddess, deity, of the higher mind, you know, that sort of thing. So I think that you're taking more steps to really get in touch with that, because you're starting to realize that kind of our intellect on its own, it just seems like it's not really enough. You know, it feels like there's something more. We need to supplement our own intelligence with this kind of spiritual intelligence. And I think with both of these cards, I mean, this is the Libra energy. This is adjustment or justice. I think you have a very keen intellect. I think you're very smart. I think you're smart in, if I may say, kind of a genius way, right? And what I mean is you tend to think of things in a way that not very many people around you do. And you may have noticed this in your past too, and is kind of in your life generally, that, especially with these two cards together, you have this ability to really see into things in a way that the people around you couldn't. And I think maybe when you were a kid, it maybe made you feel like different than other people, you know? And so I think that your childhood was very, very important. I mean, it's important to all of us, right? But I think yours is something that you still kind of hold with you, something that's very strong in your life, right? It's still a very powerful force, the way that you grew up. I think that you had perhaps... No, I think both of you, I think your parents stayed together for a long time, because I feel like you have two very powerful influences in your life. And I feel like they're your parents, but I feel like there were two very strong forces, but they were kind of like different, you know, and I think they really balanced each other out. I mean, we've got the Liber card here anyway, right? So I feel like that it was two very different. Maybe one person in your life was more intuitive. Maybe you had someone in your family that was very spiritual, very religious maybe, but they almost feel like they were a medium of some kind. Yeah, that they were really a channel, a conduit for the spiritual energy. And then someone else in your life was the opposite. Very by the book, very mathematical, very logical, very practical. Very material, right? Didn't really trust in a skeptic. didn't trust in anything beyond what they could experience with the senses, and even then wanted a little extra proof, right? So you may you may be from a family, or maybe just in your life, you've been, let's say, a spiritual leader, but then you've been like a lawyer. You know what I mean? You've been kind of a scientist, and then you've been a mystic. You've been kind of both ends of the spectrum there. Or that was the influence on you when you were younger. Yeah. And I think now you're trying to blend both of those together. You're trying to figure out how to make all of that work and find this direction forward. Now, this, again, could be a specific project. It could be a life plan, kind of generally, right? So I'm going to take a sip of my tea here. I'm starting to get a little hoarse. That didn't really help, did it? The Three of Pentacles that we see in the middle, this is understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. So you have this ability to understand how things work, and that's kind of what I'm going at with this kind of genius thinking that you have, which really, little sidebar here, I think we all have that genius mind capability. And I think it really does come from being the scientist and the mystic, blending science and religion, or science and mysticism together as one, right? And we activate that part of ourselves where we can see things in a different way, that we understand how things work without having learned anything about it. You know, this is like, this is your ability to pick up any instrument and just play it. Or you to pick up any kind of sports apparatus, baseball bat or football or something, and just kind of intuitively know how to throw a perfect spiral. You know, like the math and geometry of how to hit a home run without having to really work on it. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that you don't have to practice, and we see that with the 3 and the 5, particularly the 5 of Pentacles. But this is you understanding the process in the physical world. You understand like mechanics in a very intuitive way. Okay. But like I was saying, with the 5 of Pentacles, this is you having to practice. You know, you can't just have this understanding, because that's pretty significant on its own, right? But imagine if you were to hone that. Imagine if you were to refine that kind of unnatural ability, right? I was going to say a natural talent, but it seems like it's something that's a little bit, there's my cat, a little bit like ultra natural. Imagine if you were to practice and hone and refine this skill, this ability, in whatever path of life you're choosing. Whether it's a creative skill, maybe it's music, maybe it's business, maybe it's law, I don't know, medicine, all these possibilities. I kind of feel there's some sort of a law connection with you. And that's really, I mean, this card up here, I think, is pretty dominant in your life, and I think that there is this connection with law. Now, it could be that some of you are dealing with lawyers right at this moment. There's something kind of legal going on. There's also an L name that's very significant to you in your life. With the court cards that we have here, it is quite possible that there is someone who might be either a contemporary or a peer to you, someone your age, so friend, partner, brother, cousin, coworker, or somebody maybe slightly older. But I feel like there is an L name that's attached with you. It might have something to do with law and kind of legal matters. But I also feel that there's some sort of consequences that are being dealt with, right? I feel like somebody, and maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that's kind of attached to you, but I feel like they did something, and now they're having to deal with the aftermath. Now they're kind of dealing with those consequences, right? And maybe this is part of you wondering which direction to go to, okay? But the Five of Pentacles in the future position, very important card, because this is the card of making a decision, making a move. It doesn't really even have to be the right one. You know, do what you feel inspired, do what feels natural and harmonious in this kind of weird, now you can You can hear my cat. She's knocking at the door, basically scratching on the studio door. The studio door's open, but she likes to kind of announce her arrival anyway. Do what feels like the natural, most kind of intuitively or spiritually inspired thing, okay? But do something. Don't remain stagnant. Don't remain a sitting duck in the water. That's the Four of Cups down here. The sitting duck in the water. This is a resting state. This is saying, I'm not taking an action right now because I don't know which action to take. I'm not feeling inspired in any direction. It's just kind of frozen in place, right? It's just, it's a ship that's just like, we've lowered the sails, we've turned off the engine maybe, and we're just kind of rocking back and forth in place. We're not really doing anything. And if a ship does that, then storms will come and knock it all around. The winds will come and push it off course. It's really subject to any outside influence to come and do anything. It capsize, right? We've got to stay in motion. And once we are in motion, there's going to be still a lot of wind, a lot of currents, a lot of other forces that are trying to push us off course. And we have to either say, okay, I guess we're going this way now, or we have to really fight to stay in our lane and stay on our course and in our direction. And this is really very Five of Pentacles, right? The Five of Pentacles is a mixture of outside influences and internal motivations, internal influences, the actions that you take. This card's all about physical actions out in the world, right, on the waters. Every action you take is a mixture of your kind of internal impulses and desires and motivations and ambitions and your will and your assertiveness. A mixture of that and a mixture of other influences coming from outside. This contemporary or maybe slightly older person in your life, and other factors, the legal matter, other things in your environment that are kind of trying to push you in different directions. Internal motivations and outside influences. Okay, but the thing is, we've got to act from our own will and our own assertiveness. Otherwise, it's only going to be the outside influences tossing us around wherever we end up, right? So we have to meet that with our own impulse power, right? All you Trekkies out there. I was a bit of a Trekkie. I love the movies, more than the shows, though, honestly. Anyway, we're going to move to the path of the serpent, and as I do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. All right? I'm very interested to see how worldwide our community is here at Dove and Serpent Tarot, and I really do appreciate all of you. All right, so the Six of Swords here. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. This is us plotting our course. This is like you get out the maps, right? The navigational charts that you see like in movies, right? On like a submarine or something, and they got the ruler and the pencil and they're plotting the course. That's this card. And this card is all about the mind. Now, understanding what the heart is saying. Now there's communication between heart and mind, right? Between thinking and feeling functions now are acting as one unified function in our lives. So we have a direction. So we know we've plotted a course. We know what we need to do. Now, staying on course is another matter. Dealing with all the contingencies and all the variables and all the inevitable side adventures that you're going to meet on the seas is a different story, but at least we have a plan. Okay? And I think you will be developing this plan, and you will be getting this realization as you work with this energy about kind of what to do and where to go and how fast you need to go for how long in which direction, and then you got to turn a certain way and all of that kind of stuff. I do wonder if there's a connection with dad or grandpa or something here, or maybe an older cousin or an older uncle or something, because I feel someone who is like, I feel someone who's older than you, but not a lot older than you, if that makes sense, right? So, I mean, it could be dad if maybe you were younger, or they were younger, when they had kids. But I feel that there's just someone slightly older than you that maybe still has some of that outside influence on you, that kind of has their own way of, hinting at where you should be sailing your vessel, right? And we get that with the Emperor energy here. Spirit's showing me an owl. I don't know if you have a connection with owls. I see a lot of those like ceramic, like little owl statues or something, like on a shelf. Or maybe it's meant to be like a totem animal or a spirit animal or something. And to me, that would be very fitting, right? Because we're talking about that kind of genius kind of energy, not to inflate your ego, but to me that feels like a wise owl, like a real kind of innate wisdom about things, But anyway, talking about the Emperor energy here, I feel like this is you taking charge in your environment. This is you understanding that you have to be sovereign, that you have to exert your will in the environment. This is you on the open ocean as captain of your vessel, okay? As captain of your vessel. And I feel like what you're building in life, or this plan that you have, this trajectory, this life path that you're on, is meant to be something that's like kind of perpetual, right? We're thinking in perpetuity here. So it's not just something that benefits you now. It's something that's going to benefit like generations to come. It's something that's going to be like a legacy. It's going to live beyond you, right? And the difficulty, I think, really is with the Knight of Cups here. This is in the difficult position of the spread. This is in kind of the obstacle. This is kind of the position that we don't want. This is the card we don't want. But this card's all about giving and receiving love, giving and receiving affection. It's the sharing of our gift. It is the receiving of the gifts of other people. So I don't know if there's this kind of a little bit of isolation that you feel. It's sometimes when you've been sailing on the ocean by yourself for long enough, when you meet with some friendly people, you kind of don't know how to do it. We forget how to interact with people. Yeah. So I wonder if this card is kind of talking about being open to just sharing time, sharing love, sharing experience with other people. Because I kind of get like that salty, sailor that someone's being nice to them and they don't really know how to respond, So I wonder if that's kind of something that we're working on, or if we're trying to focus on improving our relationships with other people. Yeah. If we are trying to really discover our path so that we can then kind of share that experience with others. Or maybe we're looking for some companions to sail with on this journey. Yeah. But I feel like for whatever reason, this is the obstacle for you. The giving and receiving of love and affection, right? Of sharing kind of the intimate moments, really, with other people. Okay. What we see next. Excuse me. Gosh, my chest. I'm getting better, but I still got this issue with my chest and my throat and all the rest of it. The universe card, world card at the end. Okay. I think that we've been in this position for a little bit, where we've been just kind of maybe tossed around by the energies around us. Yeah. That we haven't really been focusing our energy in a particular direction, so we've been at the mercy of the current, at the mercy of the winds, blowing us in different directions. And it could be that we've been in that position for a little while, and it kind of, I'm getting this feeling with the salty sailor and this kind of being just kind of a boat with no engine, or no sails, that we've been at sea, we've been lost at sea for a long time, right? But I feel like that's changing now, because I feel like now we're finding what we need. We're finding the inspiration that we need to get on course. Okay. to get on course. Now, I do think that there is some, I'm getting the picture of a cross, and I wonder if there is a kind of, back to the star card really too, if there is this kind of, it's almost a relic. It's almost, it's like a religious artifact that you have. And I kind of feel like it's, in some ways, it's like you have a compass on your ship, and you're kind of banging it and like thinking, why isn't it working? You know? And I kind of feel that way with this religious artifact too, that it's just like, maybe it's something that you wear and you're just like, okay, I really need you to work now. You know, or like, why, you know, how does this thing work? Why isn't it working? I'm getting that kind of, I don't know if you said that out loud or something, but I feel like this is in some ways the feeling of being lost. But now through the rest of the reading, now this feels like we're finding our way home again. Yeah. So this is the difference between the open ocean being a very frightening place versus the open ocean being full of possibilities, because you know that you have a course, that you have an engine and a sail, and you're doing it, you know. So this is, I think, what used to be perhaps a loneliness or this feeling of being lost is now this feeling of being right where you're supposed to be. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. This reading's getting a little bit out of hand. Mystery card. If you have a prediction for this, I want you to put it down in the comments. I don't know what I'm expecting here. I would like to see some water energy unfolding, 9 or a 10 of cups. I know I say that every reading, but that's really what I want every reading. But let's just take a look. Let's see what we have here, okay? Well, 10 of Pentacles is pretty good. And I think this makes more sense, right? This makes more sense because we know we're working on the emotional stuff. We know we're trying to kind of to make those connections and let that kind of thing flow. But having the 10 of Pentacles shows that this open ocean, this vastness of the universe, this might be cold and lonely out here. We know that we're reaching a destination. And I think now you've got a destination in mind, which is half the battle, really. This is the picture of your best life. You've got your pets, your plants, your people. This is the perfect life. Yeah. This is wealth. This is success. This is your destination. And so it's very important that you remember or realize or refine what this is. Get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil, and write it down. Draw a picture of it. Right? This is the picture of your best life. And you've got to know what's in there. You've got to know what your destination is, what it is that you really want to be. What does home look like? What does it feel like? Yeah. This is beautiful. This is really nice. We're going to do an extended reading. Scorpio, if you want to stick around, click on the link that should be in the corner. If not, there's one down in the video description. Okay. New readings for Scorpio every Wednesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. But I'm here every day. Just come on back and we'll talk again tomorrow. Okay. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know how you're feeling. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.